If you want to lose fat, do cardio 45 minutes to an hour every single day, 7 days a week. This is exactly what I would have told you a couple years back when I was first trying to lose the weight. And if you're somebody who is currently doing this, stop, first of all, and finish watching this video where I'm going to explain to you why not to do that and also what to do instead. And if you're somebody who's new and who's trying to embark on their own fitness journey, stick around. Um, so let me tell you the backstory because I don't want you guys to think that I'm just throwing statements out there and I haven't gone through them myself. The things I tell you are because I went through them and I experienced them, and now I'm learning uh, things that I didn't understand before in the past, and I'm passing on this information so that you guys don't make the same mistake. Let's start off with the backstory. So, 2019, I was overweight, pandemic. I let myself go, playing a lot of video games. Um, Sedentary lifestyle, right? All classes were remote, and I got super fat. And at one point, I ended up realizing, like, hey, like, look what happened to my life. I need to do something about it. I look terrible. I feel terrible. My clothes don't fit me the way I want them to fit me. And so I embarked on my weight loss journey. Um, fast forward to fast forward to my sophomore end of my sophomore year, where I was still a bit chubby. I was not as fat as I was in 2019, freshman year, but I was still chubby. I did still have a bunch of face fat. And I was just like, again, I entered this mode where I was like, I need to shred off this fat. The number one thing I did before that was just do a whole bunch of cardio, right? And this is where I actually learned about one of the best cardios around, which I still use to this day, but back then I was using it for the wrong reasons, obviously. This is when you go on the treadmill and you put it on the incline all the way up to the max, which was 15, and then you would walk or speed walk at a speed of 3 to 4. And a year later, actually on TikTok, I saw that it became the meta, and I was like, damn, like I was the one that found that first. But anyways, I did 40 minutes to an hour on the treadmill every single day. And I was burning about 600 to 800 calories per session, right? And I was doing that a couple times a week. Before that, I was going to another gym, New York Sports Club, by my school, and I did shred the fat, but I ended up skinny fat, meaning that I was relatively skinny everywhere on my body, but I had excess fat around my midsection. I had love handles. It wasn't the most optimal thing to do, especially for my people out there that want to actually have a lean muscular physique. Doing hours on the cardio is going to help you shred some weight, but it's going to leave you skinny fat. And in the longer run, what I've learned is that building muscle mass is that muscle mass will allow you to raise your metabolism, and it will allow you to burn more calories at rest than any other tissue in your body, including your fat tissue. So the problem is that when you prioritize just doing cardio, you don't build that foundational muscle. Your priority should be your strength training, right? Your priority should be making sure that you're in the gym progressive overloading, or for my people that are trying to get toned, making sure that you're exercising every single part of your body. But if you're just spending all your time doing cardio, what's going to end up happening is that you'll lose the weight, but you'll end up flabby, right? You'll end up soft, undefined, and this fat, especially that you have around your midsection, will most likely be the last thing to go. And unless you get like to a really low body fat, it's not really going to go away. So you're going to be left with a muffin top with the rest of your body looking skinny. Now, I know that a lot of people use temporary solutions, right? They go through temporary shortcuts where they'll find like a loose fitting shirt that fits them loose down here. But what happens when it comes time to go to the pool and go to the beach, and you have to take your shirt off? You're that one person that has that shirt on in the middle of the water, right? You don't want to be that guy or girl. Let's go over the 3 ways to change your course of action and to actually do things correctly and understand that this is not a race. This is a journey. Okay. Number one, I need you to analyze your current position, right? That means noting down your body weight, your body fat, and the macros that you need. Specifically, when it comes to macros, Don't worry about fats and don't worry about carbs. Worry about your calories and worry about your protein. Your protein, specifically for my people that are trying to maintain whatever muscle they have or trying to build muscle, make sure you prioritize your protein in there. But if you're just somebody who's trying to lose body fat, mostly worry about your calories, right? Protein wise, keep it up there, but it's not really too much of a priority for you since you're just trying to lose fat. So analyze those things, and I want you to actually create a plan. Because one thing I learned is that if you don't have a plan, then essentially you plan to fail. You need to write out exactly where you're at and where you want to be. Okay? And now this big goal that you have, I want you to break it down into smaller goals. So, I just for an example, right? If I wanted to lose 30 pounds, I would break it down into 10-pound movements, right? So it's going to take X amount of time to lose this first 10 pounds, X amount of times for the second 10 pounds, and so on. And then I would just, when I start off, I would focus solely on losing those first 10 pounds. Then after that, I would be like, okay, what's the next step? Well, the next step is to lose the next 10 pounds. By the time you get to by the end of step two, you're going to realize that you lost the majority of the weight and that you're well on your way to hitting your goal. When in the whole time, you weren't necessarily thinking about that bigger goal. You were thinking about the smaller goals because you were so focused on what you were doing in that smaller portion of your bigger goal. Okay. The second thing is you're going to obviously start prioritizing strength training 3 to 4 times a week instead of doing your cardio. Now, again, like I said, you don't have to eliminate your cardio, but minimize it to 15 to 20-minute sessions and just do 2 to 3 sessions a week, right? Also depending on how severe your situation is and how well you can maintain your deficit, because there's two ways to have a deficit, right? You can either create a deficit through the food that you eat, or you can create a deficit through your physical activity. With cardio being an example. So if you're somebody who's not doing cardio right now and you want to implement some cardio to help out with your deficit so that you don't have to affect your impact your food that much, then you can go ahead and do that. But again, everything in moderation. Nothing is a race, everything is a journey, right? Number three is you're going to start taking care of your nutrition. Now, again, that goes along with your macros, your calories, your protein, but specifically, the simplest way to do this is to stop eating the processed junk that's in your pantry, the chips, the cookies, the alcohol, all that stuff, right? And switch over to whole and nutrient dense foods, foods that either come from the ground or come from an animal. But another thing to understand about this is I'm not telling you to cut those things out completely. I'm not saying you can't have ice cream for the rest of your life or you can't eat a bag of chips. Understand that you can eat everything in moderation. There are people who got shredded off eating Pop Tarts. You just need to know how to manipulate your calories specifically, right? So, again, if you're just trying to shred body fat, you can possibly eat almost anything that you want as long as you stay within your calorie deficit. If you're somebody who's trying to build muscle or maintain their muscle, obviously you need to be at a certain grams of protein in order to do that. But you can still have these other things in moderation if it fits into your calories. So, with that being said, I hope that this video helped you. I hope that it made you realize that you need to switch your thinking from the short term to the long term and realize that yes, you can go and do hours of cardio if you want. You will drop the body weight, whatever. But you need to maintain that afterwards. And the problem is that most people can't, and nor does anybody want to. Nobody wants to be going to the gym every single day to do straight 1 hour of cardio, right? So don't be that guy and or girl and just enjoy the process.